Well, folks, this is the second video I'm recording today. I already did one with Aristo, which will go up at 4 o'clock today. And this one is with Yosan Pedro, and he's from Israel, and it will go up the following day at 4 o'clock. And the title of this video is, Will Humanity Join the Galactic Federation? And Yosan, I'd like you to go ahead and introduce this topic, and we'll see how the discussion flows.
Okay, thank you, Ron, and thank you everybody that is that watched me before and complimented me. People have encouraged me, you know, and I started to feel more comfortable in this environment. I started to design this change position. I want to feel more comfortable, you know, because I'm talking to people that I appreciate, that they talk to me, you know. And the subject is maybe controversial because people think, well, can we really join the level to meet the demands, the conditions that the Galactic Federation's put, and which Stephen Greer has expressed, and also David Wilcock has expressed, and they're very disappointed if humanity is not rising in frequency to meet the Galactic Federation requirements. So I wanted to present the requirements of the Galactic Federation in a way that it may be more comprehensible.
That's a good subject. I'm actually wanting to hear that too.
Oh, okay. So when you look, what is the difference he mentioned there between us and them? And he said, for example, the reptilians, first of all, that they are maybe lower than us in many respects, but the way that they communicate between them is in oneness consciousness. It is like also animals, birds, that they fly together in a flock, so they can adjust, each one can adjust itself to the structure of the flying together, so they have a sort of communication. The same applies to dogs, you know, when the dog feels something in the distance, another dog can feel him, or the same goes between humans and animals. If you are attentive to animals and you see an animal and you can feel their pain and you can connect to them more closely. Yeah?
As I said before, the Anastasia communicated with everything. Plants, animals, the whole environment. She was connected with it, which made her so superior to the rest of us mere mortals.
So when you look conscious of a person, why is it prevented from him to heighten his level? It's also a matter of attention, because you are attentive to this person. Let's say that you love somebody so much, or you care about the cat, or you care about something so much that you're so attentive that you are following their behavior and their impression and their expression so intimately. So you are becoming, in a way, part of their fields, and they're becoming part of your field. Now, I'm just saying it in general, but yes, but to start to come to that point, you can do it solely with attention, just giving attention, you know, giving up of yourself, of your own thought processes, you know, of your own worries or whatever you were in, because something so important is happening in front of you, and you are dedicated to it. So you join the frequency, and you can join the frequency of an animal in the same line. You can also join the frequency of the extraterrestrials, because they don't create structures of thoughts within time. They don't create this. The creation is within what you can call the fifth dimension that is happening. You are creating this relationship with somebody by just reacting, with just being together, with just sharing the same space, sharing the same feeling, you know. So for people, I wrote a few, a list of some stuff that I wanted to repeat and come to the same point because I thought about it a little bit earlier. Okay, so people, we are, first of all, blocked in the trap of time. What is a trap of time? Is maybe the idea about time, but also a trap that you have to wake up and to go somewhere. So you live in this sequence where you created a time, span by which you have to be somewhere, If you are having the idea about life, so your life at this moment is very much under the impression that you have only so many years to do something. So there is a pressure on you to complete stuff because you have a limited concept of time, a limited perception of time. For every moment that you do, you think, what am I doing this for? And rather look at the matter that you're dealing with somebody together rather than your limited perception of the time span that you have. So you release yourself from the time, from the trap of time in your mind,
Well, I know when I almost died, a couple years ago now, I really, I felt my dad died at 54 and I was getting up near 70 then. Now I'm over 70. And, my health situation wasn't as ideal as I would have liked. And so my mortality took on an ever increasing awareness that I don't have a lot of time to accomplish what I felt my life purpose was.
Yeah. So, but if you put it on the part that you've done so far, on the background of what you must do to complete the mission, then you see the right perspective. And this is the perspective everybody here that is free of time is looking through. We are looking through a perspective that we have a huge field of span of creation that we haven't even started, and we want to continue and complete. So this is the healthy perspective. It's not a perspective that is bound by time, but you assume as if you are living forever, and that's the only way that you can do something insanely, to be insane rather than to be pressed, in the trap. You release your brain to the fields of possibility, to the love that is waiting for you. You read books, you are inspiring yourself along the path that is natural for you rather than, framing in the sequence of time that you project. It's just a change of releasing yourself from time span is a mental change. It's you can ask, but real time is progressing. What will I do? I say, yes, this is still the trap. You're still in the trap, The less you're connected to time and the more devoted you are to anything, the more you free your health. Actually, your health will be better. You believe in what you got to do here. If you look at the limitation, you will be scared. You say, "Oh, now I don't have air. You lose the control of your body because you think that every occurrence with your body that is unpleasant is danger, that you're going to be sick soon, that you are going to have a heart attack again, or I will have one, okay, for this matter."
I bet you I've had at least 7 or 8 heart attacks over the past couple of years. Only 3 of them did I go to the doctor about. The rest of them, I just wait till it stops and I ignore it.
Yeah. Listen, if you were in a medium meeting yesterday, so if you go to a more profound consultancy, they will show you, how you progress along the line from looking at yourself as trapped in time to looking at yourself the full potential that you are, because you have the experience, spiritual experience, where you broke the barriers and you felt absolutely cosmic. You are spacey. You felt who you are. Really, you don't know you are. You cannot tell who you are, but you know that you are. So
yeah, those are big aha moments and very blissful.
Yeah,
but they don't happen often enough.
Yeah, but that it doesn't matter what your mind think about. Still, you are that. You are that. This isn't something that you cannot change. You are that infinite being, and you encourage your body to follow that vision. Your body will go with you. Like your body will go with you if you look at yourself as a deteriorating along a time span that you project, it will deteriorate accordingly, you know? So yeah, you just project open, and you know it is like this, not because you chose it. It's good to choose it. When you choose it, you affirm it. When you affirm it each time, you know, but this is the fact of life, you know, it depends on
Yeah,
each
we have to
one.
overcome the brainwashing, and we've all been programmed by
Yeah.
less than honorable ideas.
Okay, so to less than honorable ideas that you meet somebody, actually meet somebody who is offering you something that is limiting, and you know it's a mind material that is offering you a material that is mental. So you look at the relationship between this human or between whoever gave him this material, and you look at it with attention. That is, what is he really doing at this moment? You know, you rise it to the level of tension that you have with the cat. You just look at the person and you are right to be, how you call it, that you don't accept it, you know, you don't accept them on the point, on the port, on the door, you stop it because you know these people are selling you, they stop the healthy flow, and now they are projecting on you an idea that is meant to limit you, to limit your mind, you know.
Well, unfortunately, most of us have been trained that way from youth. We weren't born that way, I don't believe.
Yeah, but
because our parents were part of the system.
Yeah, but every time
trained their children within the system ideology and structure.
Yeah, but every time that it happens, if you look at as the instant, as the sequence that it happened, this something that happens within this reality, within it's like something that happened. If you look at that thing as it happened, you know that it always happened with transmission from one person to another. You get the idea from somebody, from the church, or from the priest, or from the teacher, or from the street, or somebody who thinks is wise. It doesn't matter. No matter, you get it in person. So to go higher in the level of frequency, the first thing that one must do is to be able to unleash himself in a situation that you relate to somebody. And relating to somebody, when you are a good person and you want to treat somebody to help them, you dedicate yourself to a point where you lose your balance. And this balance must be reversed, fixed, your balance of being with somebody, anybody at all. So people have at home, usually, when they have somebody that they are mad about, you know, they're mad about the wives, or mad about their mothers, or they're mad about the children at home together. So you have to realize how you create a picture, a projection from yourself, you know, because this is the most common thing. So I wanted to touch upon this. When you create a picture about somebody and you go in with a picture, my wife, she thinks about me something, and I see that she is exploding and exploding until she starts to shout. And I ask her, what did you come with this for? And I'm showing her the energy, you know, which she created, you know, how she crossed the barrier of reality with me, because my field of being is totally separated. We don't have anything in common unless I submit to this projection. So if I don't accept to this projection, what is left is you being yourself, whoever you are, this being that you are. You are who you are, you know, let's say this, it doesn't matter what you thought, and I am who I am, and she is who she is. But once we live in a place where everybody is completely sovereign to have their own inner conversation, to have their own feelings, to have their own occupation, what they're doing, the project that they do, you know, so you release yourself from your story with that person, and from his story that he projected upon you. So this is basic, so that you will reestablish the sense of beingness, you know, in a real time, you know, what is happening. You also see how they project on you and how you project to them. And that is very hard to do if you are really habitually angry with somebody. So that's why
you know, I don't think it's wrong to be angry, but As it says in the Bible, be angry and sin not, but don't let the sun go down on your wrath. In other words, settle it before you go to bed that night.
Right. So yeah. So to settle it many times is a changing of a situation. You change something. You offer something to change the vibration, and you remove this barrier of habitual worrying about time spent, about relationship. Another, you have to catch yourself while you're doing it and realize that you were doing it. So yes, so you come back to the energy. You see how much energy is invested in projecting on somebody. Oh, she made something. She put the stuff. I never find it. So start to get angry. I realize what I'm doing to myself in sense of frequencies or feelings. So the feeling is the next subject. So. But before I end this, I want to just say that if you are together with somebody and you're not talking at all, there is a field, a common field that can be created. It can be created by relating to him or not relating to him. You will feel different ambience if you are in the presence of that person or the presence of that animal. You will have different frequencies, different feelings. So this will be there whether you treat the situation like you think it should, or if you don't, this frequency is there. Yeah. And
okay, what role is the Galactic Federation playing in what's going on right now? Are they just waiting for us to rise up to the level of their expectation, or are they actually playing a more active role? What's your thoughts and feeling on that?
Well, that's another issue. What they do.
The title is about. Us joining the Galactic Federation. So
it depends on which extraterrestrial you're talking about, because extraterrestrial is a very wide range of types of
well, of course, but the Galactic Federation I take to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
It's not part of the negative ETs.
Yeah, still
positive ETs.
Yeah, but still nobody is representing the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation is a term to describe everybody that is living in such a state. Is samadhi. You live in a state of present and you relate to everything in a momentary instant. There is a sequence that everything is happening in the sequence. You can complicate the sequence with many ideas if you want, but you cannot connect with the Galactic Federation if your arrangement of the idea is not perfectly organized. You must be high conscious creator so you can impress them, So yeah, you see, you know what I mean? It's on the basic level, you now push to the second level. The second level of relating to Galactic Federation is cultural. When you are already of a culture that is based in the presence and has a lot of communication and the feeling of what's going on between them, is risen to a level that is already a social level. But we are talking about the first level. The first level is when we, with our interaction, we are with our instantaneous interaction. I tell you and you tell me, and he tells him, and it goes to the president and it goes to the next president, and they all say together, hey guys, enough with the wars. We're not going to continue with this because we are losing this planet. And everybody will say it. It's not a need an agreement with paper in the United Nations. The fact that everybody knows this, that this is passé, this is inconceivable that we can continue. Everybody say this is time for peace, then it will be like this. You don't have a political need to agree, or a country. When everybody agrees on this, we are arrived to level 1.
Yeah, I'm still not clear in my own mind about the role of the Galactic Federation, what they're playing in humanity's evolution or awakening right now. I mean, I've always thought that they were here to help uplift us. And if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying they're waiting for us to catch up to some point of awakening by ourselves, and when we reach that point, then they'll help us, but not until.
Yeah, because we have to take care of ourselves. You know, we have a planet that is dying, and people are, yeah. So to have people, for example, maybe as far as I am from the United States, caring about what is happening in California is a sign that I'm sharing the worries, the situation of emergencies that is happening there. And this is this kind of expression that we are practicing now is to have empathy to people that you don't know, just on the basis that they are humans, or they are to the animals in the sea that are dying of pollution in the ocean. So this is the level of expression that we need to reach. The first level, it's not any other thing than this. It's just this level of agreeing, that we are causing so much harm that we must stop it. And this must become common knowledge, like knowing that all politicians are how you call it, corrupt, that they will go to play golf, and leave the victims on the wars, and the children lying on the side of the road. So eventually humanity will come to a point where they say, all this leadership that we have, this is false, they never served us. So once everybody knew this, the common understanding that it is so, then we arrive to level 1.
Yeah, well, of course, I think most people realize, or many people at least, realize that our current leadership on this planet is not really very enlightened or awakened. They do not have a benevolent intent toward the rest of humanity. They see themselves as superior, not connected.
Right, yeah, the leadership. So once we are dismissed the leaderships, the idea of the leadership, because you can take somebody in your home and say, you are my leader, and now you tell me what to do, and see how it works. It never works.
I don't want that kind of leadership, and never have. And I don't think
most. No, so this is the same. The same applies. Nobody can be leader to nobody, not to another person, not to another animal, not to another nation. Leadership is a bad idea. It never worked, So when people will understand that they are sovereign to be who they are and to connect with everybody on the sequence, on the time, when it's right, how is it felt, what do you want to do with another being? You want to, better the relationship. You want to do something together. You want to just cheer somebody, to serve somebody, to be with somebody joyfully. So you will do something joyful. You will do something, you offer something. Now it takes out of you something good. You have to make up something good in the moment, because it is in a moment,
Well, unfortunately, the leadership that we're used to, their idea of leadership is about controlling those that are the supposed followers. And instead of being benevolent toward them, it's all about manipulation and control and deception. All of the negatives seem to be what comes to the surface. And that seems to be the history and the experience of most humans.
But the same. Yeah, but if you connected with what I said before, anybody connected that every concept about reality, about life, is given to you by somebody in an instant, or in a point of meeting, that you met with a person that he, offered you this bad idea and you took it. So how do I, when I got the idea about the government, or where I got new news about what they do, every time I reject them more. I don't accept them, But the level of where it happens is instant. So I was wanting to show, the difference between, say, a general or a prime minister or president, and they come into a room. Do they connect in a natural way, or do they connect according to plan that have been given them by somebody? So they are following a rigid, predetermined line of action that by which they have the army. The army is available to treat the North Koreans. It's not to study what the situation, how come North Korea arrived to this situation, and why the Palestinians are crying, or why it's happened, why Iranis are like this. Nobody is interested. They have this capacity to maneuver all these powers and money that they have, and that's what they're doing, you know, in the earn of it. But this is a circle of people that are doing this. I don't know how many of them, but they must put, you know, unlooked at, you know, as crazy people, because when you compare it to the relationship that you must have with anybody, and you compare it to how they communicate with each other and what they mean by their communication, when you look at the difference, you see the sane and the insane, you know, you see the normal, which is the difference is huge.
I agree.
Yeah. So their judgment is not about so much about the system, if the system is good or bad. All the systems that they have in the arsenal of, you know, historical assets, they are dividing the world into little fragments, and they sell each part for so much money, you know, and
there's the problem. It's the monetary system has always been behind the control grid.
Yeah, but it's an idea, you know. You come here in Israel, let's say, is a country. What did we have here in the beginning? I don't know. A few millions Palestinians lived here peacefully. They were very educated people. They had very good universities, very good radio stations with the best music you can find. They had the best food. They had the best clothing. They were humble. They're very quiet. They didn't look for advancement. They didn't envy the West for having so much. They didn't relate to it at all. And slowly the Israelis came here, and the Israelis disregarded them at all. And now you have, I don't know how many Israelis here. I think about 30 million, of which 5 million are Jewish, according to your definition. There are Khazarians or whatever, and the rest are 25 million that are foreign workers that were brought here on papers saying that they're Jewish from all kind of countries, so they'll have so many people. So now they'll have an excuse to say we want an empire because we are so big. And you have Israel, if you will go out to the street, it's no less traffic than you have in Manhattan. The whole country, just millions and millions of cars and millions of industries, and you have a lot of money here. It's the richest place on the planet. So they put a lot of money into here. It's architected politics. It's nothing to do with Jewish people. It's
you know, all of those things that are used to divide us are fake. They're made up merely for the purpose of division, not for the purpose of unity.
Yeah, so my best contribution, if somebody comes to me and he tells me and represents this, like when I came here first week or two, I was driving I was hitchhiking, and we were together with my friend. We were driving with somebody in the north, in the mountains. And he asked us very proudly, he asked me, what do I think was Judaism? And I tell him this is a kind of business. So this is my contribution to this discussion. And my contribution to discussion, it can be more radical even than this, you know, because I've suffered of this as a person, as a free human being. I've suffered of it so much, and I know how much the Palestinians suffer it. I know how much Americans are suffering of their governments, and I know how much the French people now suffer because this Macron was elected. So the people are suffering under the rule of their government to a point where it doesn't matter what the government offers, you know, they don't want any of this anymore. So
people are tired. Anyway, we're almost to the half-hour mark, so if you can,
that was in the flow.
And I mean, Aristo went over a little bit, and that's fine, and you're allowed to also. But I do try to limit it to approximately a half an hour.
No, I don't know. I wanted to to post political any individual behavior in their true surrounding, where it is a room or wherever we meet, you know, and put this behavior, this sequence to test and look at it, what is the material that we are dealing with, and say, you know, that the higher frequency by which we get closer to the animals kingdom and to also the Galactic Federation, and is the level of frequency that is between us in a real time, in a real sequence. It doesn't matter if the government people are the same like everybody. So just to put it on the same level and compare them, you know.
Yeah. Well, we certainly have a ways to go to make the world a more peaceful and a more beneficial place for all of us to live.
Yeah, yeah, but it's true.
Hopefully
But
we're moving in that direction, although sometimes I wonder.
yeah. Yeah, but the thing is that the only true means that we have is to raise the frequency of the communication between us in the real time. There's no idea that will take us there. It's only the rising of our frequency, you know, and make us more sensitive and more attentive to others, you know.
Yeah.
So that rising our frequencies is being attentive and being of service.
I agree with that, and I think on that note we can probably draw this to a conclusion for now until the next video.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. Very nice to meet you again. You look great.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and namaste, as I always say at the end of my videos, which you know what that means. Most everybody does. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ron.
Okay.